Let me start off by saying that I love these two games, but it's not perfect. Playing these two games back to back felt like what it was like watching Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. But like these two films, it's similar that God of War 2018 felt more focused and personal in terms of their storytelling, while Ragnarok feels more grander and references a lot of their previous story points from their previous game. Because these two games serve two different purposes. God of War 2018 served as a soft reboot and overhaul in their storytelling and combat, and it did so very well. It even won them Game of the Year.
Alright, and the game award for Game of the Year goes to God of War.
I thought the combat felt crunchy and satisfying, but Ragnarok dialed it to 11 by offering more variety of attacks and bosses. Because let's be honest here, the first game only had different types of trolls, plus Baldur and Thor's son. While those are definitely a weakness, but for me, the story is brought to the forefront because, like I said, it's focused. While leaving story seeds here and there, but the overall story was better. There's just a better string tying it all up together. We get to learn Atreus, Mimir, Freya, and Baldur, even Kratos himself. Felt like the story had time to breathe, expand, and explore these characters more. The journey started feeling lonely, and as you go through the world, and especially after you meet Brock, the mood shifts, it becomes lighter and atmosphere changes. Then we met Sindri and Freya, and we started to learn the world more and more alongside Kratos and Atreus. But a disclaimer, I do feel like the princess is on another castle trope is a bit much because of the highest peak in all of the realms. But a few times that someone mentioned it, it did get pretty repetitive. Spreading someone's ashes should not be this complicated and bloody, especially with so many killings of gods. With that, Kratos and Atreus' relationship is tested on this journey. Now, we need to give Kratos the benefit of the doubt, because if you know anything about the previous game, Kratos is a calm and reasonable person in comparison. Although I do know that I like the father and son relationship being explored like that because it hits too close to home. But anyway, the story ended beautifully, there's no doubt about that. Then comes Ragnarok. There is no doubt that Ragnarok is grander and bigger in scale. Just look at the amount of storage it needs, 175 gigabytes. That's probably the biggest game I've seen so far. The opening of Ragnarok really punches you with action and sets the tone for the story. It's darker and greedier and more serious, but my biggest complaint is that it felt more like God of War's sequel, like there's a second game going on, and then midway they're like, oh man, we don't want a trilogy, let's just cut to Ragnarok and boom, be done with it. It kind of felt like that because Ragnarok did not feel like Ragnarok, especially that last mission is literally just one quest, less than 30 minutes. Don't get me wrong, the moment before the reveal in quotation are great, but I feel like it's missing a whole game. It felt like too many thread points from the first game just wrapped up for the sake of finishing it. I really enjoyed 3/4 of the game, from the Ironwood segment, the journey to Vanaheim with Freya, Atreus' journey to Asgard, and Brock's journey to meet the lady and make the spear. All are very well written and very well done. But after that reveal, after that Odin reveal, that point afterwards feels like so fast and it juggles too many things at once. They should have put more writing into Atreus' life at Asgard. Tell us why the Asgardian or Aesir are not as bad as people say they are, and then the Tyr reveal, and then end the game right there. Then it's the third game called Ragnarok where they focus solely on that, because you expect me to believe that it took them that short amount of time to rally all the people from all the realms. There's like so many plot potential skipped. The Ragnarok war felt too fast, it was underwhelming. It didn't feel like a war. And also Kratos consistently saying don't believe in prophecy and don't want to be involved in that, and suddenly just say, okay, yeah, I'll be your general in a matter of what, less than an hour, felt too fast. I genuinely think it needs another game. Now, to be fair, Cory Balrog mentions that he doesn't want 15 years just to tell a Kratos and Atreus game over a trilogy. While that is valid, then write it like it is a 2-game story, like Infinity War and Endgame. Or make Ragnarok just slightly longer, just like how Endgame is a 3-hour long movie. Although I do see their point, because I feel like the gameplay doesn't hold up for another game if it's expanded upon. And I'll give credit where credit is due. The game is polished, good combat, good cinematography. Overall, the dialogue writing is spot on. I feel like if it were any other game studio, Ragnarok would have fumbled hard. Luckily, Santa Monica is a passionate and talented studio that can handle this. Even Ragnarok feels like a missed potential, and yet it's very solid. It's more solid than most games released nowadays. But please, if you want to take anything from this game, is that it is a very solid game. I don't hate the game. I highly recommend it to anyone who is willing to go through a journey that will be impactful and action-packed. So thank you for watching, and as for the next video, I really don't know.